Hello and welcome to the Bourbon Bear, and the Bears currently sit at 6-3 after a decisive winning over the New York Giants on a not last second, but final drive, Caleb Williams scramble touchdown. Bondo, your immediate takeaways from that game?
Well, first off, it wasn't decisive.
I thought it was. Statement of the ground. He just, ran right in.
Well, we did, and but the point is we're down 10 in the third. I mean, we shouldn't have been down that much, and we got lucky that Dart got knocked out of the game, and I think that the perseverance. I mean, the beautiful thing about the Bears is they believe in themselves, and they don't think they're out of a game. And I know we're 6-3, but we could easily be 7-2 or maybe even 8-1.
Well, to that point, that's a game that last year you lose. Even if you lose Bears, that's always a guaranteed loss. And we've had a lot of games that we should have lost that we pulled through, which just gives credit to Ben Johnson just being a great coach.
I agree. Johnson, he is. I don't know if he's a player's coach, but he's definitely a coach.
He always looks pissed off on the sideline. He really never is happy, which I kind of love about him. It's like get your job done
until the end of the game when it's a win. He is kind of fun. I hear after the celebrations they have over there. But
to your point, I agree with you. In the first half, I think the offensive game plan was pretty poorly executed, mainly because you never really established the run. You were coming off of a week where you had an almost I think it was fifth all-time rusher in Kyle Guy. And then they eighth
all-time rusher.
They never really got it established, though. And then the second half was a play from behind, and obviously they turned it up in the fourth quarter. But that's kind of been a theme for the Bears, though. They always start great in their first drive, and then the first half always kind of goes sideways. Is that something you think they're going to fix, or is it going to be we're going to be that hero ball team?
Well, again, I think that you look at the way they finish games this year as opposed to last year. Especially on that 8-game losing streak or 7, whatever it was. You got to have confidence in any sport activity you have, but I believe the Bears really feel they can win, and that's something we haven't seen here since 2018.
Yep.
So I'm excited. Big game this weekend. We'll go into that, but. Menengai, Meninga, I call him Meninga because my buddy's name's Meninga, but it's nice to see a guy running that hard. I haven't seen something like that since since way back when. But I'm encouraged. I think Williams is progressing, not as quickly as we like, but I think the tutelage of the coach will help.
Well, one thing I want to point out, too, though, the defense did step it up toward the end, but there were some gaping holes that we've been seeing multiple weeks. Gary Jeudy, he's been kind of, hurt or not productive. You've got a secondary that's still banged up. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Linebacking core without TJ Edwards, you're seeing kind of holes with Noah Sewell. Overall, what do you think we can even do against the Vikings when they've got Justin Jefferson? Granted, J.J. McCarthy isn't the best quarterback, and I think its true colors kind of got exposed by the Baltimore Ravens, but how do you think we're going to fare going into this week?
Well, I think, I know 2 of the defensive backs are going to play, but they didn't practice yesterday. And, today, I'm not sure. I didn't get the report today, but
Who are the 2 you're talking about?
I can't remember because I was.
Well, it's not Jalen Johnson. It's not Kyler Gordon because they're still on IR. But I heard they are starting to get better, which is good. But
that's the key. Everybody's going to get injuries, and it's a part of the game. But the strength I thought at the beginning of the year, if you follow the podcast, it was the defensive backfield, and I still feel that a couple of those guys have stepped up in a lot of these games. But I think. Again, linebacking core, defensive line. I graded them all as B. The defense is a B last week. So
you know what's funny though? Tremaine Edmonds is tied for first in the NFL in interceptions, which I think is a wild stat.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no one really notices that. It kind of goes unsung.
I wouldn't have never.
He's been doing a really good job in the middle.
I would not have guessed that.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
our middle linebacker. He's someone who's on the hook about maybe not being a part of this team next year with the salary cap hit too. But I think he's been playing decent football. And when he and TJ are out there, it's a good combo. But the defensive line is going to be the bane of the Bears' existence this whole season. You can't put it all on Sweat just because, he's the only guy that's getting some kind of pressure. But Booker, I thought, would have a little bit of a step up this year. I thought, maybe the D interior line would do better. But Dexter's been playing solid. Billings has been solid, but there's really not a good rotation there right now, and teams are exploiting it.
Well, a good point. You look at Billings and his. I think he gets too tired in the fourth quarter out there. I hate to say it. He looks like he's pretty out of shape. But Sweat has done well. Hey.
For how much you're paying him, that's the problem.
Well, there's a lot of guys that aren't even playing that getting paid a lot.
Dio Adebo, same thing. We paid him all that money. He's not doing anything.
He's not doing anything. But, again, I think the offensive line, which I graded as a B+ again, I'm so pleased. I know the right tackle is Benedict is having his problems, but the guy's a rookie, and he hasn't. He wasn't even drafted. He was a free agent, right?
He was. Yes, he was.
Pickup by somebody.
Yeah, there was something from since he's Canadian. It was like UDFA or something like that. But the good thing about him though is at least he's holding his own. Caleb had time. The one complaint I have about Caleb is he holds on the ball too long. He was fantastic at breaking tackles against the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
That was insanity. But he's still got to figure out that quick rhythm stuff that he just is not really leaning on right now, I'd say. But that's my opinion.
Well, he's missed a couple of those quick outs. He has for all year. It's he found the tight ends. In the last few games that really helped.
Loveland actually started to make an impact, which is good.
Yeah, Loveland, and Cole had a couple. I think he had 2 catches, I believe. If I remember, one of them was great. He had a good 15, 16 yards on one of them. But his blocking. I don't know if you guys watch his blocking, but Cole's blocking. Has been fantastic.
Well, one thing I'll say about the wide receivers as a whole, and you can count Swift because he had a drop. They had 6 confirmed drops against the Giants.
Yeah.
Zacchaeus, literally, I don't know why he's on the field. Get Burden out there way more. It blows my mind.
Zacchaeus dropped
DJ's
2 or 3 balls.
Oh, yeah, I know.
God.
DJ's in that corner of the end zone. That was a tough play. I don't know if they count that one officially as a drop, but Rome did step it up compared to last week, though, which was good. We need Rome to be that guy.
Rome's our guy. We said that at the beginning of the year, and DJ is. I thought he's still a leader out there. You see him on the sidelines hooping it all up, I'm excited. You guys got to give me some credit. I said the over 8.5 looks. It was my big pick at the beginning of the year, since, my record is impeccable. But, hey, if we can get the playoffs this year, I'll really, really be excited for the future.
And if they beat the Vikings this week, so going back to my earlier point, if we do beat the Vikings, you're standing at 7-3, and depending on what happens to Detroit-Philly, which is a game that either team can win, that might be your first in the NFC North, which is crazy to think about. But again, you're coming into this game as a dog on the road, home field advantage. It's only 2.5 right now. Yeah. But what do you think are the keys to victory for the Bears?
Well, the key to the victory is that, Minnesota's defense is still darn good. And I think
they've been looking sloppy, though.
Well, I still think that guy is he's a heck of a defensive coordinator. He wasn't much of a head coach, but on Miami. But I think they have a couple injuries too. They're stacked up. I still think McCarthy is a rookie quarterback, although he's his second year. He never played last year, and I think Williams is stepping up. He's showing that he's played better this year than McCarthy, except for that first game.
Well, and that's the thing. The first game, I felt like the offensive game plan wasn't really there for the Bears. You had a pick six was essentially half of your points. They only scored, I think, 21 or was it 23? But again, you gotta find that rhythm if you're Caleb. You can't let it go out of control, or then you have to play hero ball, scramble around everywhere. Again, the Vikings pass rush is pretty good, so that's my only concern. So I think the keys to victory really are offensive line holding their blocks, receivers catching the ball, and then defense. I hate to say it because it's so frustrating, but that bend don't break, at least get 2 turnovers.
Well, the Bears have done well with turnovers.
They lead the league.
Is that right?
Lead the league in turnovers and turnover differential, which normally goes hand in hand. But Caleb's only thrown a couple picks. I don't think we've had a running back fumble this year, or haven't been recovered by the other team. But
Meninge, he's never fumbled in college, which that's the stat that blows my mind. He hasn't fumbled yet this year, so.
I guess technically you could call the fumble against the Cincinnati Bengals on the onside kick when it hit the
wow!
Come
on,
but
that was
that's
just because he's not on specialty teams when he was in college. He doesn't. That was he just I think, and that's coaching too, because he never had a clue on that play. I mean, it's.
I forgot our special teams coordinator, but he's been getting grilled on the radio.
Oh God, he's getting brutal. I think he came on the radio one day, and he goes, "I know what we have to do, and we have to change."
You got to change it, bud.
Well, it hasn't, but I'll tell you that punter's done great. I mean,
Colin Carney's biggest regret.
Well, he's done. He's got the Bears out of some holes, and I think he's well worth. Was it an 8th round pick, 6th round pick, 4th round,
4th round pick.
4th round. Well, that's a
with Poles' drafting. I kind of don't hate it, to be honest with you.
No,
but going back to the game this weekend, though, so you got the Vikings, you got Justin Jefferson. Now they will have Jordan Addison compared to Week 1 when they didn't have him.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson had an okay game. I think it was 1 touchdown, 43 yards, nothing special, but they still beat us. So, what do you think the Bears need to do to win this game?
Well, turnovers, I mean, we need to not drop balls. I think that, it's hard to go 2-0 in division. I know the Bears have not had a division win yet this year, but they haven't played everybody. They lost to Detroit and Minnesota, and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. Only 2 games. That's surprising.
Green Bay's a close window back-to-back, which will be interesting.
Well, Green Bay's got their issues, too. So
they lost the Panthers. They lost the Eagles at Lambeau.
Well, they're decimated. You think the Bears are we got people waving to us while they're walking by. That's right. They don't know we're having the podcast. But, again, it's hard to go 2-0 in division. And I think the Bears are going to be ready to play them this week, and it's if Minnesota loses, I think they'll might go in a tailspin like the Bears
did. That if the Minnesota loses this game, their season is over. I'll go ahead and say it right now, and that's why if you can drive that stake in the ground right now, because then at least it's a 3-headed beast you got to fight for the North with. Detroit, I mean, obviously they're probably on paper the best roster in the division.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you win this game and Detroit somehow loses to Philly, even having it for a moment will instill some fear in my mind. In Detroit, of like, hey, we got to fight to keep this, and then the Bears are going to be riding the highs. So I like it if we win.
They're the monsters of the Midway. That's their old nickname was. But I know you're all looking for my picks. I have to be somewhere at 5, so I'm getting late. But, last week, I'm having a good year. I'm still over 500.
For the record, Bondo's bets last week, he said he had the Bears at 3.5. That was a lie. It was 4.5.
Well,
we need that to get corrected on the big board.
I went early. It was 3.5.
I was told that the bet was placed at 4.5.
Well, yeah, in Vegas when I was there and won money. 6-0 in college on Saturday morning. But I like Miami minus 2.5. Again, maybe it's going to be a little different, but this was this morning lines. Green Bay minus 7. I know that's not what you want to hear. I like Pittsburgh. I love the Bears, but my guy's 3, and I'll show it to you. Cleveland plus 7.5, and I do like Philly against Green Bay. So,
well, Philly and Green Bay played last week, so that's not possible. Detroit, you're saying?
Well, Philly's playing Detroit.
Yeah, you said Green Bay. They played Green Bay last week.
Well, I'm not. Philly beat Green Bay last week.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but that's my picks, and
he's sticking to them.
I'm sticking to them.
And that's all the time we have for today for the Bourbon Bear. Bear down. We'll be boots on the ground this weekend. Look out for a guy in a bear suit at the stadium, at the game, with a bunch of guys in track jackets. So
I do have to say one last thing. Luke is and his buddies are 0-6.
We are 1-8.
1-8. It sounds
that changes Sunday.
If this happens Sunday, we're never going to let them go to a away bear game.
You never take the Bears these tour trip. I'll tell you that right now.
All right,
go Bears.
Go Bears. Well, get some better bourbon.